you want to wholesale and flip houses like a professional, then you need to learn how to confidently talk to real estate agents and make low cash offers without sounding nervous, awkward, or inexperienced. Because this is one of the biggest reasons most beginners never ever get their first deal. They freeze during the conversations, they over-explain, they sound uncertain, and they lose the deal before the low cash offer is even presented. So in this video, I'm going to break down 2 real live calls from inside my community, including a real $335,000 low cash offer. And I'll show you exactly how professional wholesalers and flippers are structuring their 2-call close process with a discovery call, gathering information, building rapport with agents, and then confidently making offers that actually get accepted. And throughout this video, you're going to finally understand the psychology behind these conversations, and this is going to allow you to start getting consistent deal flow on a monthly basis, just like clockwork. Now, I want to make one thing very clear. Most people think the hard part is saying the offer price, and it's not. The hard part is the first call, the discovery call, before the offer ever happens on the second call. Because if you handle this conversation poorly, the first one, then that low cash offer you got to make, it becomes awkward, forced, uncomfortable. But if you handle the discovery call correctly, like a pro, making the actual cash offer becomes smooth and easy, as you'll see. So first, I'm going to break down a real discovery call from the inside of our real estate skills community from one of our acquisitions associates. And then afterwards, I'm going to show you the actual close call where the cash offer not only gets presented, but accepted. Now I'm going to pause throughout these calls just to show you what was done well, what needs improvement, the psychology behind everything, and then how the pros actually structure these conversations, why we ask, what we ask, and when we ask it. All right, now let's dive into the first call.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm looking for Faniza.
Speaking.
Yeah, how's it going today?
Good.
Great. Anyway, this is Lorraine and I work for I called regarding your listing at 3713.
All right, we'll pause right there. Now, right away, I want you to understand this is not a cold call. When we're calling a listing agent on a distressed property on the MLS, we already have their phone number. It's right there on Redfin or Zillow or on the listing sheet. So when you call the agent, they know and are expecting phone calls. So you can actually speak with more confidence. You can simply say, hey, Faniza, it's Taurine with ABC Homes. How are you doing today? Now that sounds way more natural and more confident and more professional. And when we're talking to distressed agents that list distressed property every single week, they respect that. They know their time is money. So this is a warm convo, not a cold call. This distinction matters. Let's dive back in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do have a couple of questions. Is this a fixer type property or not really?
It is.
Oh, I see. We currently don't have a buyer's agent. Would you be interested to represent us if we would make an offer?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. We'll pause right there. This is one of the most important questions in the entire discovery call. So Taurine, the acquisitions associate, asked, would you be open to representing us if we made an offer? And this is huge, this is vital, because now the listing agent has the opportunity to make both sides of the commission and make twice as much money. So psychologically, what's happening is that the agent now becomes more open because if Taurine's offer gets accepted, the agent makes twice as much money for doing the same amount of work. So this question now allows Taurine to be on the same side of the negotiating table instead of different sides. And if you're not asking this one question alone in your discovery calls, you're probably closing little to no deals every single month. And if you are asking this question, you're probably closing 1, 5, 10 deals every single month. So it's that important. Let's dive back in.
Okay, great. Anyway, does the seller have a particular reason in selling the property, or is it like an investment property?
No, they're living in the property. They just go, yes, it's an investment property, nothing like that. They're living in the property. They're still living in the property. They just want to go closer to the sun. So they have to go buy. They have to sell and buy again. Yes. So they need to go live next to their son.
So perfect. With that question, what just happened is we're learning the seller's motivation through asking the real estate agent. So why do they actually want to sell? It's because they want to move closer to their son. And that's important information because great investors don't just make any type of offer, they make accommodating offers. Meaning, how can we help as the investor, as the buyer? How can we help make this transition easier for the seller? So maybe they need extra time after closing. Maybe they need help moving. Maybe they need a short lease back, meaning we buy the property, they get all the funds, but we lease the property back to them for 2 or 4 weeks so that they can use that money to go buy new property. So the details are what matter in getting the deal accepted. Now, one more thing, in this section, this is where rapport can begin to be built naturally. So we don't want to sound robotic, but now we're starting to get into the human side of the conversation. What's the life reasoning? What's the motivation why the seller wants to sell? Completely vital if you want to start closing deals.
And can you tell me more about the minor or major repairs needed?
Their AC is not working well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's anything big. It's just that they don't want to go spend their money,
Okay.
that I know of.
Yeah.
The kitchen is needs redone, and the bathroom for sure needs to be redone.
Okay.
Those
Anyway,
are two items.
How about the electrical panel,
That
is it
I don't
working
know.
well?
Okay, so she didn't know about the electrical panel, but this is a great job by Taurine asking about the repairs needed here on the property. Because the more accurately we can understand the condition of this property, because sometimes there's no photos on the MLS of this property. We have to ask the real estate agent. Once we get that information, the more accurately we can calculate our offer. And this is where most beginners mess up. They make offers without talking to the agent and without truly understanding their numbers and the repairs. And then later they try to renegotiate and get a lower price, and that just completely destroys your credibility, their credibility. But when you ask good discovery questions like Taurine is doing, you can now send a more calculated offer up front. So for example, we were just talking about the AC issue going on. That alone could be a $5,000 or $10,000 fix, and that adds to the renovation budget. So that matters. Because now once we have this, we can have a more calculated offer than the competition, and we might offer 5 or 10K lower, but our offer now makes sense and we're not gonna renegotiate later on. Now, as we start this conversation as it's going, I need you to imagine a conversation, a sales conversation with a real estate agent. It's like a dance. And if you step on your dance partner's toes, that can kind of interrupt the dance. So here, my advice for Taurine, and you'll see, she starts talking very fast. Sometimes she steps on the toes of Faniza, the real estate agent. So one more advanced thing to work on is the tonality, is your pacing of the conversation. And this only happens from listening to your calls, recording them, and then getting better. Let's dive back in.
I would think so, because everything is working in the house. They're living in it. They're living comfortable. It's just that, as I said, the AC, they said it's the cooling part. They don't really care because they have the manual, the other AC, and they're fine. They don't feel like they need to be bothered. And so they just decide they're not going to fix it. That's it. And I'm sure everything else is working. And the kitchen and the bathroom definitely needs redone. But again, they don't. I don't know the reason why they wouldn't do it, but that's it needs work.
Perfect. Quick pause here. When we're asking really great questions to the real estate agent, the agent's telling us right now how much this property needs fixing. If you heard her, hey, they're not going to fix this. Everything needs to be redone, the kitchen and bathroom. That's perfect, because when the agent can tell you how distressed the property is and they're telling you it needs more work, what does that mean? The more work a property needs, the lower your offer can be. So this is how you can confidently make a low cash offer when the agent's admitting to you how much work this property needs. And this is why a phone call is 100 times or 1,000 times better than just email communication or text communication. This would never come out during an email or text message. So the phone call is king when it comes to closing deals.
Maybe it's cold in that area. Anyway, any upgrades done recently that you're aware of?
No.
Okay, got it. And when does the seller plan on reviewing offers, though? Because it's a fresh listing.
Yeah, it's a fresh listing. Of course, they're looking. They don't have a date. I mean, it's a really, really great property. If you look at where it's located, the location is excellent. If you look at what is next to the location, is excellent. So this property can be used for so many reasons, so many things. It's a lot of advantages. So really, the price board on the location, the land is 0.69 acres. And where it's located, so it's a really nice property. And even to the house itself, it's big. It's pretty big inside, 1,400 square foot. It has the 1-car garage. It's just the owners, they're hoarders. So they're hoarders. You see the picture?
All right, let me pause real quick. So the agent's admitting that the seller are hoarders. So we love hoarder houses. We've been able to wholesale, fix and flip a lot of hoarder houses. Once again, the agent is admitting a problem of the seller. So when someone is a hoarder, there's junk all over the property. I've done properties where the actual flooring has broken through because there's so much junk and newspapers throughout the house. They may need a storage unit for all the materials, for all their extra stuff. And that's how we can make our offer even more accommodating. But let's carry on.
So they're hoarders.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
They have so much stuff, and they think that all the stuff is very important. Everything they think is because I keep telling them to get rid of the stuff.
Yeah.
And for some reason, these things are very valuable, and they even showing me some of the stuff that I know people wouldn't use, and they're telling me, "Could you take it?" And I'm like, "What am I going to do with it? Who's going to take it?" You know.
Yeah.
But
Minimalist
they
way of
really
living,
think,
though.
They don't think it's garbage. You know, they don't. I'm not saying it's garbage. I'm not saying it's garbage.
That's a hoarder right there. They love all their stuff.
But they don't think it's something to be just given away, like, just throw away.
Sentimental.
But I told them when I was there yesterday.
All right, I'll pause real quick. So right now, they're starting to laugh a little bit. The agent's opening up more. So this is natural rapport happening. The agent's actually divulging a lot of important information that's going to allow us to make a confident low offer. That's the power of asking these particular questions and having the agent open up. So in a perfect conversation, you're the one asking the questions, the agent is responding, but you should not be talking more and talking nervously to this agent. You should be asking the questions, the agent should be answering the questions because the agent is in charge of the deal. And the deals are in the data. The investor, the wholesaler, the fix and flipper that has the most information is the one that can win and make the most calculated offer.
I'm like, things going to have to go. So you have a better way to move in soon. How are these things going to go? You know, they said, we're going to get it. We're going to get it out. So they have tons. So that's what you're going to see. Mostly you're seeing stuff all over the place.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Anyway, what price do we have to come in to be competitive? Because I know you're getting a lot of offers now.
Great question, guys. One of the most important questions. What price do you have to come in at to get under contract today or to be competitive? Taureen's not reading exactly from the script. You can ask it in better ways in the script that we use. But this question is so important. Most people do not ask this question. Sometimes the agent can tell you exactly where you need to be at on this property, what price you need to offer, and they can tell you the low offer price. So now what? Now it's their idea. Your low offer, your low cash offer is their idea. This is the important psychology when you ask the right questions that are happening on being the best of the best in this business.
Yeah, but right now it only got listed yesterday. I know for sure it's going to be shown tomorrow. I know it's getting shown Thursday, that I know. But I don't, as I said, the owner has to buy. So it's not like he's just going to give it away too, so he has to buy.
Yeah. Anyway, are you getting investor or homeowner offers, Sanizo?
I think both of them was investor.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so right here, we could have done a better job. Taureen could have done a better job. The agent didn't answer the question, what price do we have to come in at to be competitive? She kind of talked a lot. So what's going to happen is you're going to have to re-ask the question a different way. So for example, once Vanessa didn't tell us the offer price, really, you could say, what ballpark, around where do we need to be at, to get this under contract today? You just follow up with that question. Most times, the agent will then tell you a number around where you need to be. And that's how we start working our way down. Now, the next question Taureen asked is perfect. She said, are you getting any investor or homeowner offers? If you're doing this correctly, if you're a real estate investor and you want to make cash offers, you really should only be competing with other cash offers, meaning investor offers. Now, Faniza told Taureen, I think both of them were investors. Right there, you could say, hey, around where are those coming in at? Where are those offers coming in at? And agents can tell you exactly where they're coming in at. So if we do this correctly, the agent could say, hey, you know what? You can come in around 250. I got 2 investor offers. Around where are those coming in at? 235. Okay, instead of 250, if we start at 240, and if we need to work up from there, but how about we submit an offer at 240? So through that logic, through the questioning, we can now lower our offer and have it just make sense and be a little bit higher than the competition.
Anyway, do you have
That's how they sounded. Yeah.
Stepping
over
toes.
Do you have other listings like Fixer Type? Because
no.
Okay.
Real quick, that's one of the most important questions too, guys. We always ask this question later on. Do you have any other listings that you know of on or off the market that we can work together on, that you can represent me on? Because now we're about 5 minutes into this conversation. We have more rapport built, as you saw. If I just call this agent right off the bat and say, hey, do you know of any properties on or off the market we can work together on? They're gonna be like, who the heck is this? I don't know you, and you have no rapport built. So we always ask this question later on in the discovery call. Because maybe 10, 20% of the time, the agent's gonna be like, oh yeah, I am actually working on a property. Because you need to understand every property that's on the market that a real estate agent lists, it all starts off the market. That's what they do. They do off-market marketing. So when you talk to agents on a daily basis, just like this, and you ask them, do they know of any other fixer type properties? You're going to get yeses, and you're going to get the inside track on properties. And sometimes some of these off-market deals, when you're pursuing on-market, can be some of your biggest wholesale fees too. So we pursue on-market property, but we also ask this agent, do you know of any off-market property too? So great question, very powerful. It's one question, but I had to break it down and share the importance of it.
Anyway, Faniza, I got all I needed. I'll meet with my team and try to discuss this as fast as I can, so maybe we
No
can make
problem.
an offer. Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, perfect right there. What we're doing is we're setting the agenda for what's going to happen after this call. So we always tell the agent, hey, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna meet with our team, we're gonna analyze the property, and then I'll get back to you as soon as possible with a cash offer that we can work together on. She did a good job stating the agenda, but what we can do is do even better. She used some language that's kind of tiptoeing. She said, I'll meet with my team and try to discuss this as fast as I can, so maybe we can make an offer. Real estate agents want to work with people who have certainty and confidence. So eliminate the try, eliminate the maybe. We already had discovery call. You're making an offer on this property 100%, not maybe. Every deal is a deal at the right price. So these little tweaks in your words when you record these calls can improve your posture, your credibility, and your authority to these real estate agents, creating more trust and them actually accepting more of your offers. So the deals are in the details.
Thank you so much. You
You
sound
take
Asian
care.
as well.
I'm a West Indian. I'm from Guyana.
Anyway, thank you so much, Faniza.
No
I'll
problem.
talk to you
nice
soon.
talking to you. Take care.
You
Okay,
too.
bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, so in the last part of this call, there's actually some more rapport being built. Great opportunity to loop back to questions in our script, such as, are there any special offer terms that the seller would like to see that can make our offer more desirable? There's all these questions you can ask to get more intel, so that when you go back with your team and you analyze this property, you analyze for the ARV, the repairs, and the purchase price, where you need to submit your low cash offer in order to make it work as a fix and flip for you, where you make your desired profit, or as a wholesale deal, where you make your desired wholesale fee. That's very important that you ask these additional questions. So in all, I gotta praise Tareen for being in the arena. Most people are going to watch this video, not actually call agents and be in the arena. Now, at the end of the day, I give Tareen probably about a C on this call. She asked questions about the representation, which is absolutely vital. She asked about major and minor repairs. She got the seller's motivation. But as you saw when I broke down, there are additional questions you can ask to get the literal numbers of where you need to come in at with your low cash offer today to then make it work, right? To actually get under contract, and now it's the agent's idea. Now, the honest truth, most wholesalers and real estate investors aren't recording their conversations, and this is one of the biggest things you can do in your company. If you're an owner, if you're a manager, if you're just doing this yourself, record these conversations, see where you're stepping on the toes of the agent, and what you can eliminate and or add in to close more deals. Now, for this next call, we're gonna break down how to make the low cash offer. It's gonna be presented on this call. And this is what happens. You're gonna see it's gonna be smooth because when we have a great discovery call with the agent, it makes everything easier on this close call. So we never ever make an offer on this first call. And why is that? Because we wanna make a calculated offer. We wanna really crunch our numbers. And if you do that while on the phone with the agent, you're then not really listening to them. That first call is for rapport. That first call is getting the information. The close call is where we make our calculated low cash offer. So let's dive into it.
Hi, Melissa.
Yes.
Hey, this is Tyler with How's it going?
Good. How's it going, Tyler?
Good. Yeah, we just met out there at the property at Marlboro, and
Yes.
just want to follow up with our offer. So we could come in at $335 on this one, and
Okay.
would you be open to representing us on our offer?
Absolutely. Yeah. Would you mind shooting me an email with the terms and the price point that you guys want, and I can get it written up when I'm back to my desk?
Okay, perfect. And do you think 335 is going to be a strong number on this one?
I know that the seller's hoping for more, and I've heard talk of more, but I don't think it's a bad offer. I would encourage you to come up with your highest and best. So whatever your numbers are showing you, if 335 is the highest and best, that's definitely what I'd advise. You don't want to overextend yourself.
Right. That's pretty much maxed out for us.
Yeah.
But, yeah, well,
Great.
I'll shoot you over our offer terms right now, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Sounds
Okay.
good. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
All right, pretty darn textbook. So notice how calm, how smooth, that conversation was. My student, he didn't over-explain the offer. He didn't apologize for this low offer. He didn't pressure the agent. He simply presented the offer professionally, and then he let the agent respond. So once you present your offer, just be silent, hold your breath, let them respond. Because this is where most wholesalers mess up. They think that making these low cash offers is about being aggressive, when in reality, you already did the setup in the discovery call. You're calm, you're confident, you're professional, and the agent understands that. And also notice, in this conversation with the listing agent was kind of helping my student navigate the offer. She wasn't offended, she wasn't angry, she understands this is how this business goes. And this is all because the groundwork had already been laid correctly. And that's the power of the discovery call. And the statistics show that about 75% of all houses sell below the asking price. No matter if you're interested in real estate investing or whatever it is, you gotta get good. You gotta understand how to submit low offers on properties because that's the norm. And you have to be comfortable doing it and ask the right questions because now if you know how to ask 1, 2, or 3 follow-up questions that I asked, you can get a property 10, 20, 30, 40,000. We've got properties $500,000 below the asking price because of the questions that we ask. So as you're listening through this, as you're listening to your calls, you gotta be asking yourself, do I sound professional? Do I understand the deal? And does the agent believe that I can actually close on this deal? Because when we handle the discovery process correctly in the right way, that close call, as you can see, becomes smooth and collaborative instead of awkward and confrontational. Now, if you literally take what you just listened from this video and start adding it to your arsenal, you can start making $10, $20, $30, $40,000 more per month if you're already active doing deals. And if you're not active doing deals, I just give you the blueprint and the game plan because it took me 14 years of refinement and being in the trenches and tens of thousands of phone calls in order to make this script. So if you want to see the full script breakdown, check out my full video here. Now that you got a taste of it, I'll go through the discovery call script, close call script, handling objections, and these are the deal multipliers, even building rapport. And if you want the full wholesaling and flipping scripts completely free, I'll put the link down below in the description, and you can get this at realestateskills.com/script2. This is Alex Martinez with Real Estate Skills, and our motto is to leave no one behind in wealth creation. Happy wholesaling, happy flipping. I'll see you in the next one.